So here we are in the Doughboy program, and I've already created a window with a white background. So now we're going to add the Doughboy image. And I told you in the last video that because we want this image to respond to mouse clicks, we cannot use Draw Resized Image or the Shapes collection like we have in the past. Now we have to use the FC Controls collection. So that's where I'll begin. Okay, again, we're bringing a new object into our program. It's like bringing a new baby into the world. We've got to come up with a name. So why don't we call this object Doughboy? Okay, always choose a good descriptive name. Don't put spaces in the name. You can't do that. So here we go. I'm going to begin by typing FC, and my IntelliSense comes up, and I'm going to select FC Controls. Then I type a dot, and we'll do an Add Image. Okay, and there is a Doughboy picture in the same folder as this particular program file. We know how to locate anything we need in the folder of the program file. We type program.directory, and then I'll append to that the name of the image, and you have to type very carefully. If you type it incorrectly, you're not going to see the Doughboy. So it's Doughboy JPG. It's a JPEG image. Okay? All right. So that is a new image object that we've added to the FC Controls collection. And you know what? I'll just go ahead and move it. It's just like the Shapes collection, and you can move it to its starting position by calling the move method. So we're moving the Doughboy. I think I'll put him, around here, 125X and then a 50 for the Y. Let's see what we get. We may have to change that. Okay, yeah, we should change that. I want him smaller and kind of in the middle, so I'll show you how to size an image using FC Controls. Again, not difficult at all. We have set height or set width. Okay, so you can do a set height or a set width. You really only need to do one, and then the other one will follow suit. So if I use the set width, and that tends to be my preference, as you'll see in most of the programs I give you, I'll set the width to about 150 pixels, and then the height will be adjusted accordingly. So you, like I said, you only have to worry about one dimension of your image when resizing it using FC Controls. Okay, so now we have the Doughboy in place. So that's step one. We create the Doughboy image using FC Controls. What's special about this image, as opposed to the ones we've used in previous programs, this one has the capability to respond to mouse clicks. So that's the functionality that we're going to add next. The second step in this process, we need to write the code that is going to execute when the image is clicked. In this case, it's a one-liner that will play the laugh file. There's a WAV file that is the Pillsbury Doughboy laugh, and that's what's going to play. All right. So what we're going to do, I can't just put that. I can't just say, okay, sound.play. Here we go. Right here out in the open. What we have to do is put this code into what we call a sub. Or a subroutine. Okay, so you're going to type sub, and then you have to come up with a name. I'll explain what a subroutine is and what a sub is, but you have to come up with a name. So I think I'll call this, it's got to be descriptive, we'll call it Doughboy Click. Okay, and why did I call it Doughboy _ click? Because this sub is going to contain the code that executes when we click the Doughboy. So that's a very descriptive name for the sub, and I would like you to model that when you write your own subs. And then, see, the thing with the sub, it's like a sandwich. Here's the top of the sandwich, here's the bottom of the sandwich. You're never going to have a sub without an end sub. Okay, so get in the habit of adding the two together, just like laying out the bread for the sandwich, and then type in the middle, so you don't forget that bottom piece. Okay? So inside of this subroutine, I will add the code to play the laugh there. Now, you know what? We have play, which I think we used for our Marilyn Monroe program in Strangers in Paris. There's also this play and wait, and that is more appropriate for this scenario. If you want him to keep laughing every time you click, then use play and wait. If you use just the play, you're just going to get one laugh out of him, and then that's the end of it. Something about the play, it doesn't allow you to keep playing the sound over and over again. So we're going to play from the program directory once again. This file is called doughboy.wave. Okay? Now, a little bit about a sub. What is a sub? Basically, sub stands for subroutine, and this is very popular in programming. Okay? A subroutine in a program is like a room in a house. Okay? I want you to think about a house. Okay? If you walk into a house, any house, most houses I should say, unless it's a really modern house with a completely open floor plan, most typical houses, you walk in and you'll be in a room, and you'll see the house divided up into rooms. Okay, so a sub in a program is like a room in a house. It's a smaller piece of the larger whole. Okay, and the reason we add subs to a program is the same reason we add rooms to a house. It makes it better organized, and then every piece has its own function and does its own job. Think of your kitchen. That's a room with a specific function. It has its own job to do, and it's isolated or contained, within itself, separated from the rest of the house. Same thing with the bathroom. That's a specific room with a specific function. The bedroom, again, a specific room with a specific function. So a sub is a smaller piece of your program that performs some job. And, like I said, we add subs because, in reality, programs are very, very large. Any, business-related program or a professionally implemented program is probably going to be thousands, if not millions of lines of code. Okay, you don't just start typing that at the top and then, type it from top to bottom like we have our programs, the Marilyn Monroe program and Strangers in Paris, where, you start at the top and just type on through, almost like writing a term paper. That's not how programs work in reality. They're really a bunch of pieces or a bunch of subs that all work together, almost like the sections of an orchestra. It's a big orchestrated effort. So, having said that, we've added our sub. Okay, now I'm going to run this. Okay, and I'm clicking him and not hearing him laugh. We have one more step in the process. Okay, what you need to do is put these two pieces together. We have the image, the Doughboy image. We have the sub that is going to play or execute when we click the image, but there's a one-liner that we have to add that will connect the two. It's like wiring up the program here, like an electrician wires up a house. So we're going to type this, FC controls dot register mouse down event. Okay, and what that does is it lets our program know that, well, I'm not done yet, but it will let our program know that the Doughboy is going to respond when he is clicked and the mouse is pressed down. Okay, and so we're providing the Doughboy as the first argument because he's the one in question. And then for the second argument, we have to provide the name of the sub that's going to execute or run when he is clicked. And that would be the one that we named very carefully here, Doughboy underscore click. Okay, so now it is all wired up and ready to go. And let's try it.